Hello everyone and welcome. We are live and we are instant and we are under the breaking news banner because big news has just happened. Literally a couple of minutes ago, we received the formal announcement from Stephanie McMahon that she was resigning as co-CEO of the WWE, stepping down from a position that she openly didn't want but took up when Vince McMahon resigned from post. Stephanie McMahon was undertaking a leave of absence when the news came out that Vince McMahon was being actively investigated. She was said to have been parachuted in last minute anyway, and there were definitely different opinions as regards whether or not she would be sticking around should Vince McMahon return. There was a lot of discussion as to the possibility that she was just basically holding the job for him. Now that he has returned, the fact that she's immediately resigned has certainly raised some doubts about that. I'm going to read straight off the entirety of the resignation letter that she has made public, and can I just say, it starts off very Vince. She has posted on Twitter the words "then, now, forever, together," which is the last thing that Vince McMahon said before leaving the company. It opens, "Dear WWE Universe, about 8 months ago, I took a leave of absence and within a few weeks unexpectedly had the opportunity of a lifetime. I had the privilege to return as the co-CEO and chairwoman of the board of WWE. I have the privilege to return as a co-CEO. I cannot put into words how proud I am to have led what I consider to be the greatest company in the world, working alongside a remarkable leadership team and one of the strongest executives I have known in my co-CEO, Nick Khan. Our founder, Vince McMahon, has returned as executive chair and is leading an exciting process regarding, and I told you you'd hear this phrase a lot, strategic alternatives. And with Nick's leadership and Paul Triple H Levesque as Chief Content Officer, I am confident WWE is in the perfect place to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. WWE is in such a strong position that I have decided to return to my leave and take it one step further with my official resignation. I look forward to cheering on WWE from the other side of the business, where I started when I was a little kid as a pure fan. I will always remain dedicated to WWE. I truly love our company, our employees, our superstars, and our fans, and I am grateful to all of our partners. Thank you for everything. Then, now, forever, together, Steph." That is Stephanie McMahon signing off from the WWE. This is the official announcement from Stephanie. She is not declaring that Vince McMahon is stepping back into the role of chairman. However, the fact that she refers to him as executive chair certainly suggests that that is what is going to happen next. It is a crazy time to be a wrestling fan, but let me tell you what I've been hearing over the last few days. Vince McMahon was very confident and very happy, with the leadership team of the WWE. He was at great pains to declare this, even in his early letters to the board asking for his return at the end of last year. He announced that he had full confidence in the leadership of Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, and Triple H. A number of days after he now returns as executive chair, one of the members of that team is gone. Stephanie McMahon has outright resigned. Not only that, but two members of the board have also resigned immediately upon Vince's return. One of those people was Manjeet Singh, the head of the investigation that the board undertook against Vince McMahon. So this is very clear. This is the resignation of Stephanie McMahon from the co-CEO position. Nobody else, to my knowledge, apart from the two board members already announced, has resigned. Stephanie McMahon specifically named both Nick Khan and Triple H in her statement, making it clear that at least to her knowledge, there is no intention from them to go also. Welcome Christian179, thank you very much for subscribing on the YouTube side, very much appreciate it. You'll get a notification every time we go live for our spoiler warning news shows, and of course our SmackDown and Royal Rumble pay-per-view / watch-alongs. Plenty of content coming your way. But in the meantime, plenty of news to share. We have 62 viewers and only 9 likes. Please remember to hit that thumbs up. Spread the word, because there is plenty to talk about, and I want to tell everyone I possibly can about what we know and what we don't know so far. Let's get through our first comments. Tommy B, first one here, saying, wow, crazy times in WWE right now. Ross Menzies says, didn't expect this. Jumped on as soon as I saw your tweet. Welcome to the show. Daz says, big up Tom. Welcome. Stephen says, I just saw it. Justin just goes, John, I'm going to need a source on what you're saying there, because if you're saying Triple H is gone, I either need a source from you or your credibility is seriously in tatters, mate. You got to make sure you're telling me the facts. We source our information here. Tommy B says, sad day for wrestling. Debatable point. It's very hard to say what Stephanie McMahon's roles and responsibilities have been. It's very hard to be able to state that first and foremost. So we can't say she's done this, that, and the other. And what I will say is that Vince being back and Stephanie being out is a return to a status quo that nobody was particularly happy with. Michael is here, believes that Vince will be CEO soon. It's difficult to see a world in which that it doesn't happen. However, See, here's the thing. Vince was very clear and very open. He had no intention of coming back and kicking people out. He had no intention of coming back and taking over creative. Since his return, he kicked out 3 members of the board, 2 more resigned, and now Stephanie is gone as well. If he then takes the chairman position, which is vacant for him, he has certainly gone back on his word a number of times already. Backwards of BC says this whole situation just keeps on getting more wild. It certainly starts exploding more and more. Christian says, I'm not sure this is a great look on WWE's part. It certainly doesn't look great, particularly the timing. Stephanie going right after Vince returned. It certainly raises a lot of questions, and I would agree with you. Wiggly says, just waiting to catch a tube back, so yo. Shocking but not surprising news. For the good of WWE, Vince should just leave, give it to his kids and son-in-law, and just count down the days till he meets the Reaper. That is very, very brutal there, Wiggly, and I believe slightly too far for that one, let's be fair. As regards the idea of giving it to his kids and son-in-law, he wants the money, they can't afford it. It's that simple. Bailey says, honest if macabre question, Vince has estranged or fired his entire family. If he's run out or dies, what happens to the succession of the company? Nick Khan takes it, that's been the plan for a long time. As regards estranged or fired his entire family, he's not exactly estranged from Shane. They are still in connection, even though Shane was forced to leave the company. And Stephanie McMahon, still a big fan of Vince. Sean says, hello Tom. Hello Sean, how you doing mate? Great to see you. Carlos says she wants nothing to do with upcoming allegations against Vince. Now, to be clear on this one, I've been speaking to as many people as I possibly can, including people at... Oh, sorry, one sec. Oh. Including people in mainstream media and the people who did start running this particular story. When it comes to Vince McMahon, there is more lurking in the shadows waiting to be released. Upon the point where Vince McMahon retired and resigned, the stories stopped being released for the simple reason everyone seemed to be happy with the end results. He's back, more is coming, and he's really going to struggle to get away from some of these. There is definitely going to be quite a few hits levied at Vince McMahon, pardon me, in the near future. More news coming in as we speak. So yes, plenty more information due to come in as regards Vince McMahon. From what I'm hearing over the next few weeks, a lot is going to emerge. Wade Keller of PWTorch has also said the same. Venom says, hi Tom, only just got here. Is Steph and Triple H gone? Nope, Stephanie McMahon has resigned. She mentioned Triple H in her report, in her statement, making it very clear that he would be remaining as Chief Content Officer. Timothy Bella says, Vince is killing everything. WWE is worth more than it ever has been. I was literally, as we speak, putting together a video talking about the overall level of success of this particular motion financially. I just got into talking about the possibility of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia taking over. You know, those good old people. Instead, I suspect tomorrow I'll be putting together a video on the Stephanie McMahon news. Carmelina, welcome, says, hope you are having a great day. Thank you, Carmelina, and you too. Venom, we're not talking about watch-alongs, we're talking about Stephanie McMahon. Bailey says this isn't going to end well. The shareholder lawsuits will bring Vince down because he can't run a public company like a private one and not run afoul of SEC rules. Debatable point, unfortunately, one more time. You say shareholder lawsuits. What shareholders is this? Because the majority of shareholders are beholden to Vince, and if you've got very low voting power, you don't have a case. If he comes in and says, I'm taking over now, and he has 81% of the voting share, he's taken over now. He's changed the rules, and it's impossible now. The SEC rules don't actually mean all that much when it is a company that you can walk in and just change the bylaws. If it's a publicly traded company, he has all of the stocks. So it's a debatable point. I'm not as familiar with US law as I am with UK law, so please be aware of that situation. But a lot going on right now. Timothy says if the Royal Rumble happens at this point, it will happen as normal. One, I'm really not sure what's going to happen with AEW, but surely that's exciting for fans. Kelly says, evening Tom, this is mad news. Omega just shouts, Tegan Knox. Spider Boss says, it didn't take long for Stephanie McMahon to leave. Not long at all. Hector says, there it is, the official announcement of Vince becoming executive chairman. Right, where am I looking, guys? Where am I looking? If you've got it, please be sure to send it to me via Twitter, so I can keep track of the evolving situation. I'm obviously live right now, so it's a little harder to keep track of things. So please do send me that tweet so I can find it and share it here. Ghost says, hello Tom and chat. Can't say I'm surprised, but I'm definitely disappointed. Vince just couldn't retire like a normal 77-year-old man. Business as usual is returning with no time at all, no questions. Spider-Boss says, Stephanie left. What is next? Vince taking over creative. I did say, if you've been following shorts, Vince McMahon had the power to take over creative if he so chose. There is absolutely nothing stopping him from doing so. Nothing at all. Thank you very much, Hector. Thank you very much, Ross. PWInsider reporting Vince McMahon has been elected chairman of the board unanimously. I'm going to go into the free version to give that a read because I don't pay for news. Steven says someone who needs to buy this company from Vince is an egomaniac. He needs to be put down. Put down again, quite harsh. Calm down, guys. Also says it ain't looking good for WWE. Steve says, big breaking news, Tom. When we thought 2022 was crazy, we are 10 days into 2023 and it feels like we are just getting started. We very much are. There is a lot of information here. Stephanie McMahon has WWE today announced that its board of directors unanimously elected Vince McMahon executive chairman of the board. Stephanie McMahon has resigned from her roles as chairwoman and co-CEO. Nick Khan will serve as WWE CEO. Vince McMahon is not chief executive officer, but he is executive chairman of the board. Vince McMahon says, first I'd like to express my full support for Stephanie's personal decision. I'll forever be grateful that she offered to step in during my absence, so he sees it as a leave of absence, not a retirement, and I'm truly proud of the job she did co-leading WWE. Stephanie has always been the ultimate ambassador for our company, and her decades of contributions have left an immeasurable impact on our brand. I'm proud to announce that Nick Khan will serve as WWE CEO. Nick's business acumen and mastery of the media industry has helped catapult our business to record revenue and profitability. Together we look forward to working with the board at this critical moment in time to review our strategic alternatives, see that phrase again, and maximize value for all WWE shareholders. Stephanie McMahon said, I cannot put into words how proud I am to have helped lead what I consider to be the greatest company in the world, and I'm confident WWE is in the perfect position to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. Maximize value, maximum value. It's all about the money, money, money. Nick Khan said, Stephanie McMahon is a terrific executive and an even better person. It has been an honour to serve as co-CEO with her. She will only continue to succeed. I'm grateful to Vince McMahon and our board of directors for their ongoing support. I look forward to continuing to work closely with them and my WWE colleagues to ensure our company may thrive as a premier powerhouse in sports entertainment for years to come. That is a press release released by the WWE, PWInsider officially giving us the report on it. So a lot to catch up on there, but at its most basic, Vince McMahon is back in charge of the WWE basically in its entirety. Now, he is not yet in a point where he has taken over creative, but we cannot sit here and pretend that that isn't a distinct possibility. As chairman of the board, he's in charge of all business and financial decisions. If he's not happy with what's on his screens, he will change it. Thank you very kindly, Roman Rankin, for subscribing on the YouTube side. If it's your first time watching, we share a lot of wrestling news here that you can't get anywhere else. Please remember to subscribe. And we currently have 115 viewers and 28 likes. Remember to hit that thumbs up, please. Venom says, hi Tom, got to ask you about Sasha tweet returning to the US. Surely there's a hint she's either going back to WWE or AEW, or she's going home because her next match in New Japan is in February. Calm down, guys. Steven says, Shane McMahon needs to get that CEO role chair. No chance. He is not welcome back in the company at this point in time. Justin says, what's the percentage he just sells to himself and takes it private again? He can't afford it without actually leveraging the shares that he has. The reason he's selling is so he can afford to buy. Michael says, yep, thank you. WWE just announced that the board has unanimously decided to proclaim Vince McMahon as a new executive chairman of the board. The fact that it's unanimous. LFUK says, this is not good. Who's next? He won't get rid of Nick Khan, I tell you that. Ricky Thorne says, I'm done with WWE after this news. There are quite a few people in this chat who are already done with WWE. You're in good company here, Ricky. Christian says, I wonder if this has also anything to do with the potential of the FTC changing the laws towards non-competes and independent contractors. That, if anything, would make Vince leave the company and leave it faster. He is pursuing a sale. I'd imagine part of that is knowing that the contracts that he uses are going to be void in no time. Eric says, special spoiler warning, yes please. Richard says, hello Tom and all, WWE will be sold by SummerSlam. Venom says, do you think Steph might return when things calm down, and do you think Triple H is staying? No, yes. Christian says, didn't Shane say that he had a secret book containing secrets about his father? That was kayfabe, to be fair, and it was a lockbox. Eric says, I hope Liv doesn't become a casualty of the budget cuts. There has been no confirmation of incoming budget cuts yet. Callie says, wow, he wouldn't win any prizes for Dad of the Year. Not being rude, but he's getting on now and should be enjoying his retirement instead of making everyone miserable. He's so money hungry. A lot of people really unhappy with Vince right now, is it? A lot of people really unhappy with Vince right now. Yeah. Wow. Joe C, welcome, says William Regal, you're fired again. Hopefully no one has to kiss anyone's ass, let's be fair. Marcel is also saying Vince McMahon is executive chairman of the board again. Chill Dude says 2023 is nuts. It's only 10 days in. Stephen says Vince McMahon is a devil. I'm getting sick of him. He needs to go. And Christian says the stock just bumped up to over $90. It was over $90 a couple of hours ago when I was doing research for the script I'm writing at the moment. Sean says apparently Jay White is going to be a free agent. Think WWE gets him? Check out my short on the subject where I basically say this happens every January. There are reports that Jay White is going to be available. Think back to 2019 when I reported what I reported, and it is still true to this day and has been proven every single year. Wiggly says it was brutal in the sense that Vince can't comprehend how toxic he is. WWE's credibility is sinking by the day. Spider-Boss says if the hush money controversy was awful, the new allegations against Vince could be even worse, right? I don't know what the allegations would be. But as I say, plenty of people have said outright and openly that there is more coming. This is not the end for Vince. He's just decided to knock his head down and headbutt through it. He's going full ride on. Vince is going full ride on. Rocky says, so Tom, does this mean Triple H is not doing creative anymore? Triple H is still in charge of creative as of right now. Ghost says the announcement is on WWE's career website under the news tab. Thank you, Ghost. If I'd have been all caught up, I would have immediately found it from that. I appreciate you giving me that information. Bailey says, Tom, to your point, the US shareholder rights issue would apply whether the shareholder has Class A or Class B shares. Class A is traded stock and thus is part of US regulatory review. Thank you for the clarification, Bailey. I'm always really grateful for how well informed this chat is and how well we've cultivated this chat to make sure it is well informed in moments like this. Thank you for giving me that information. Spider-Boss says, could the new allegations against Vince take him out for good? Depends what they are. Kuro says, is that from PWI? Because there's an official statement she deleted. I have read out the entirety of Stephanie McMahon's official statement before it was deleted right here in the channel and on the chat. MBH says, hi Tom, forgot to say in my earlier comment, is this a dark day for WWE? Depends if you're a fan of Vince McMahon or not, so yes. Kuro says, where's she at? Rice says, Paul Levesque is still head of creative and chief content officer. If that's been deleted since, that's not great. Has it been deleted? Let's just clarify, okay? Spider-Boss, WWE and Fox didn't make it official. Stephanie McMahon stated it herself openly. Hector says, I don't believe she left on her own terms. She's been alive longer, and I'm pretty sure she would have been compensated with a sale, so this has more questions than answers. Not as much as others. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H have been selling their shares for a while now, quite openly, without really messing around all that much. The fact that they are in the current position, after Stephanie McMahon did take some time off, I feel that basically tells you everything you need to know. As regards what's happening right now, she would not have benefited hugely from a sale. Thank you very much, Coco, for subscribing on the YouTube side. Very grateful for that. You'll get a notification every time we go live with our spoiler warning news shows, our surprise breaking news spoiler warnings, and our SmackDown and pay-per-view watch parties. Sean says, Mandy Rose was Tamron Hall's show. She talked about her release. Said she wasn't told why she was released. WWE never told her that her fan time account was the reason she was released, and that she never told the adult content was the reason she lost the title. Says the release hurt her. Said never say never to a WWE return, and she was grateful for the WWE. She has done very, very well to lay things out the way that she did, to make it very clear that she would be willing to return to WWE depending on the situation. The WWE, to my knowledge, or at least several people there, would probably be willing to take her back, but not Nick Khan, Vince McMahon. MBH says, just to say I'm not a fan of Vince. Not many people in this chat are. You're in good company, MBH. Sean says, Carl Fredericks to sign with WWE. That is a report from PWInsider. Yes, please remember the source, Sean. Spider-Boss says, just saying, I'm tired of fans' social media saying Mercedes Moné is appearing on Dynamite tomorrow. Then stop following them. Jonathan says, I'm telling you, this sucks. Steven says the shareholders better bring him down. They can't. They absolutely cannot. Chill Dude says, I should know the board all voted against Vince returning. Now a co-CEO randomly resigns. They didn't vote against Vince returning. They all unanimously voted him into play. Queen PRA, welcome, says, nope, Stephanie McMahon can't leave. I'm sorry, it's too late. She has put out her official statement and resigned. Michael says there needs to be a set of checks and balances. I wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that there is. After all, let's consider what's actually happening in the House of Representatives right now. Checks and balances, not really a thing for rich people. Marshmallow says, shame on you, Vince. Vince is evil. Ross says, yeah, being reported now, PWInsider, that Vince has been made chairman. Thank you very much, guys, for giving me that information as I needed it straight away on Twitter. I really do appreciate that. It helps me to be as informed as possible and then inform other people as best as possible. So I'm really grateful for it. Nelson says, do you know if there are more allegations coming? I have been told that more news reports about Vince McMahon are likely on the way within the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned on that one. Kieran says, all I can see is Nick Khan has become sole CEO. Right, so has she deleted it then? Has she deleted her tweet? Because if so, something's changed. John Gillis says, why is Vince this selfish? I cannot comment on the individual man. I've never met him. I'm very confused by some of the choices that he is making. Mellencamp says, how long does Triple H stay? Either as long as he wants or as long as Vince wants. That's the situation here. Peter Roberts says, Tom, do you watch AEW Dynamite Weekly? I really don't get their storyline either. I watch as regularly as I can. I work full time, so being able to watch from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, not really within my power more often than not. Venom says, Raw superstars named Mello and Trick to be call-ups this year as well. Alba Fire. Okay, Venom. Christian says, Sean Ross Sapp confirmed that Vince is the executive chairman of the board again. The WWE clearly sent out a press release, and Sean Ross Sapp is one of the people to have received it. After all, I did just read the... wow, there's a lot of comments here for me to catch up on. Sorry, guys, I will catch up. I'm working on it. Anthony says, Tom, what caused Stephanie to resign as co-CEO of WWE? Is it just because your father came back, or what is the personal reasons? So the information that I'm getting at the moment is that Stephanie McMahon, it was rumoured when she became co-CEO that she was just stepping in to keep the seat warm for Vince McMahon. This seems like that's exactly what has happened, because she has now stepped away right after Vince McMahon returned. He has become chair of the board, and with that, we have seen Nick Khan become sole CEO. It may be that she never particularly wanted the job to begin with. I do have to state that. She was, after all, on a leave of absence when she got the call in question. Eddie says, if he's back, SEC go after him after reading more charges are coming. It depends. If the SEC are after him, they won't announce it formally, and I would not be able to speculate on it. We currently have 170 viewers and only the 40 likes. That's less than a quarter of you having hit that thumbs up. Please remember, hit that thumbs up. It means we can spread the word and spread the news to more people, because this channel will continue to grow. This show will continue to grow. And before you know it, we'll be in the 200s for viewers, and everyone will know what the actual story is as regards Stephanie McMahon resigning. Chill Dude says, does this now open the door for Vince to take over? He already has taken over. Mellencamp says, when does the mass on-air talent layoffs start? To my knowledge, at this point in time, there is no intention for mass budget cuts. However, let's be fair, if Vince McMahon is looking to sell, they're coming. They absolutely are coming. There is a lot more money right now being spent on the talent pool than there was when Vince left. Ross says, I don't pay for news either. One of the reasons I'm here. Thank you, Ross. Welcome to the show. We do try and release our news free and as open and without clickbait or hyperbole as possible. We've already got, from just saying that, we've got 13 likes. Thank you, everyone. If you've not subscribed yet, please remember to do so. Kieran says, I guess there is a chance in hell. Venom says, Triple H needs to just completely take over the WWE. That is not within his power, unfortunately. Anthony says, Tom, I have some exciting news. I became an uncle Sunday night to a baby boy named Ollie Alexander. Well, congratulations, Anthony, to you and your family. That's some great news, man. Thanks for sharing. That's some really good news. Thank you. Stephen says, WWE superstars better leave the company, from Bray Wyatt, Karrion Kross, Hit Row, Emma, William Regal. WWE is going to be bad. Vince McMahon is out of control. Chill Dude says, Vince is that grandpa you aren't looking forward to seeing. Richard says, WWE will be sold before summer, or Vince will be head of creative before Royal Rumble. Vince McMahon, to my knowledge, has been asking to try and catch up with current creative plans. He has made a couple of pitches for WrestleMania, which have largely been ignored. If too many are ignored, I suspect he might step in, and I'm not happy about that idea, but I do think it's very much possible. Best City 7, thank you very kindly for subscribing on the YouTube side. I very much appreciate it. You'll get a notification every time we go live with spoiler warning over SmackDown or pay-per-view watch parties. Johnny Crow says, do you think Stephanie knew more than we think she does, and that's why she resigned? Yeah, oh, absolutely. She knows more than we do. 100% she does. She, after all, works for the company. Kieran says, of course Steph knows more. She's literally in the family, probably hiding so much. Hiding is an interesting way of saying it. I can't disagree with it, though. Jill Dude says, so we panic now. Nick Khan is mysteriously going to resign now. I very highly doubt that. Nick Khan was brought in originally to facilitate the sale and increase the revenue stream and the appeal to potential buyers. He will continue in that role, and he will continue to make choices that Vince disagrees with. That's why he was brought in. Wolf says, this is definitely some interesting news, to say the least. Tommy says, a 24/7 title is back now, I guess. Keith O'Toole says, watching the repeat of AEW Battle of the Belts. Enjoy. Chill Dude says, Nick Khan, just stay away from any open windows. Once again, Nick Khan is definitely there to stay. Vince McMahon brought him in specifically to help a sale. As long as the sale is still incoming, Nick Khan will still be in play. Carmelina says, oh my god. Kieran says, I've got a feeling he's going to come out at the start of SmackDown like he did when he resigned. That would be a creative choice. He'd need Triple H's permission in the current circumstances. Timothy says the only good wrestling now is New Japan. I disagree that's the only good wrestling, though I will say that it is very good wrestling. Ricky Thorne says, do you think Bray is gone now? Not at this point, no. At least for now, I don't think so, though a lot of wrestlers are definitely asking questions. They're definitely asking questions, and I'm aware of at least 2 people who've inquired about the possibility of getting their releases now that Vince is back in charge. Steven says, stop listening to the board of directors, they are lying to you, I can't trust in the WWE no more. Venom says, I'm glad they finally started to separate the tag belts, it's stupid to have the Raw tag titles defended on SmackDown. This may have been just a missaying. I'm not entirely sure that only the Raw tag titles are being defended on SmackDown. Certainly I don't think Judgment Day are winning them. Marshmallow says someone needs to stop Vince. Childu says it absolutely wasn't unanimous. That's laughable. They reported it as unanimous. That's what it says in the press release. I'll wait and see if I get any news that it wasn't or if there was any discourse to it. To my knowledge, they have to file any board votes officially and honestly. So I doubt it was any different, though I do think promises were made in order to get Vince in that role. Steven says, All Elite Wrestling is my show. Noob says, seems like there's already a lot of crazy wrestling news already. Yeah, things have gone boom again. Like, full-on boom one more time. Joe C says, FDR just called Tony asking for new contracts. This close, guys. This close to getting them. This close. Backwood says, I enjoyed the Triple H Stephanie era while it lasted. Venom says, maybe Shane comes in to stop Vince. That would be kayfabe and not real life. Absolutely no chance of that happening. Shane McMahon has no skin in this game. Chill Dude says, are people being extra nice to Tony Khan now? Nope, they were always this nice to him, especially to his face. Tommy says, Vince has just become the biggest heel in wrestling. Thing is, wasn't he always? The Mr. McMahon character is built on this. Stuff like this is what made him the success that he is, unfortunately. Backwards says Vince is a hypocrite. Venom says, would Shane come back in any way to stop Vince? He has no power to do so. Chill Dude says, Vince returning will absolutely uncover much more stuff, maybe much worse stuff. Brett Loisel, please tell me if I pronounced that wrong, says, I'm calling it here. 30 to 45 days, Vince takes back creative control and sinks the ship. He can't handle that it's actually thriving without him. Dan the Man says, I wonder about the wrestlers brought back by Triple H. I think that they will be slowly taken off TV and then released again. Many of them have already vanished from TV in the last couple of weeks. At least temporarily. There's just too many people right now, after all. Coco says, I want to cry. I understand completely. Christian says, I wonder, do you think that Tony Khan would buy WWE? Vince McMahon would not sell to Tony Khan. Vince McMahon is in charge of who buys the company. It's ultimately up to him to determine who gets it. He would never sell to Tony Khan. Jill Do says, is the locker room flooded with tears yet? No, but it's flooded with very angry people. Will says, have you heard anything about the locker room and how Triple H feels? To my knowledge, and last I was able to report, the locker room are not happy, not universally. There is about a third of people in the locker room who are actually quite happy with the situation. There is a definite political leaning that comes with that. But as regards Triple H, last I heard he was nervous. Nervous, I believe, is the right word on this one, because he, as well as any of the rest of us, is simply not sure what Vince is going to do next. We've gone up to 1,987 subscribers. 13 more gets us to 2,000. If you've not done it yet, what are you waiting for? Please click that subscribe button and we'll get this power going. Mellencamp says, the only way I'll keep up with WWE is you, Tom. Solar Monster and JD from NY for my news. I won't watch it anymore. I'm Quentin, says, I just joined What Did Vince Do? He is now the executive chairman of the board. Stephanie McMahon has resigned immediately from her position as co-CEO and chairwoman of the board. Ghost says this is the second time that WWE had a major change in management right before one of the big four PLEs. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if something huge happens before WrestleMania. We don't actually have that long until WrestleMania, so that would not surprise me. Spider-Boss says, could Vince bring back Laurinaitis? If he wanted to, yes. I don't think he will. Hector says, I feel bad for Triple H, especially after his health scares. I bet his stress levels are through the roof and it can't be good. Spider-Boss says, after Extreme Rules 2022, things began going bad in WWE. Mandy getting fired, Mercedes Varnado didn't re-sign with WWE, Vince came back, and now Stephanie McMahon has left. Thank you, Hector, for clarifying that Stephanie's tweet is still up. A lot of people saying it was deleted. Apparently not. Don't know where this is coming from. If someone tells you someone has deleted a tweet, go and check. Just go and check. Spider-Boss says, I don't get why AEW hypes so much their surprises. When AEW hypes a surprise, it ends up being a flop. People can get overhyped. Spider-Boss says, how long until Vince begins firing half of the people who returned? He does not have the power to do so. Yet. Sean said, is Johnny's injury real? To my knowledge, it's a slight injury, but it is a real injury, yes. Hector says, as someone who suffers from mental health issues, I feel for all those who have returned to the WWE under Triple H because they have to be feeling very anxious, and I hope for the best for everyone. I would hope so too. After all, as you guys know, I was basically depressed for 25 years. I only came out of it last year, largely because of the success of this channel and the amount of people here who continually remind me that I'm actually not the worst person in the world. So, once again, thanks, guys. Sean says, would Vince sell to his pal, the former American president? 100% he would, though I don't think Donald Trump would want it, because what would he do with it? Like, what would he actually do with it? Fox are more likely, and then you'd get Trump on air every week, calling in, like he does on Fox and Friends, and just talking for 2 hours, and the fans wondering what the hell is going on. Steven says Triple H is still in charge of creative, which he is. Chill Dude says this is like being released from prison, then seconds after you get out, you're thrown back in. Coco says good, Triple H still a part of creative. Keith O'Toole says Vince, I think, is a genius. Think of what happened when Hulkamania was born years ago. Vince McMahon built the WWE into the ultimate wrestling powerhouse that it is now. He took major risks to do so and has become a very, very rich man. That doesn't make him a good man, but it does make him a smart man. Steven says, get on the phone and call Stone Cold Steve Austin, take down the fool Vince McMahon. Darnell says, oh no, Stephanie's gone. Stephanie is gone. Mahesh Pam says, who could buy WWE? There are a number of possibilities. The most likely ones are companies like Comcast, Amazon, Fox, and there is a bid being put together by the government and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who already have a controlling stake in Newcastle United Football Club. That would probably be the end of this channel. Kyrie says, it's like Cody, isn't it? Corey says, hi guys, I can't believe she quit. It certainly is a little bit out of nowhere, though honestly, we probably should have seen this one coming. Chill Dude says, no, oh no, I hope no one puts an explosive in Vince's limo. Once again, guys, bit harsh. Bit harsh. Take a breath. Bit harsh. We don't need to be wishing for anyone to explode. I think that may be a little bit much. Kieran says, Mandy made $1 million in 2.5 weeks. She isn't giving up her fan time to go back. She absolutely is not, nor should she. Andrew Quinn says, hello Tom. Crazy day of wrestling news, but I enjoy loads of your shows with loads of exciting news. Just found it weird that he retired but came back to be chairman again. Also, I can't wait for the Rumble. In Vince McMahon's opinion, he never should have retired in the first place. He firmly believes that he's able to simply ignore and carry on every bit of news that's coming out about him. He genuinely thinks he can just full on ignore all of it and it will go away. So that's what he's planning to do. Steven says, Vince McMahon, I don't ever want to have nothing to ever again. Timothy says, I used to like Vince, but never again. Peter says, Tom, since Vince McMahon is back in the WWE, do you think Sasha Banks will return to the WWE? No. If anything, I think Vince's return makes Sasha's return less likely. Brett says Vince is out of touch. He doesn't know what people really want, but I'm sticking to my prediction. 30 to 45 days. Vince will take back creative control and sync what's been done. Patrick Ballantyne is joining us saying Emma, Tegan Knox, Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and many others are going to get released. Now Vince is back. At this point in time, Vince has no ability to do that. However, he is in charge of deciding who does have the ability to do that. So essentially, he can do whatever he wants. Brett says, I've loved the long-term storytelling. Yeah. Good times that could have been had. Michael says, Vince is ruining his legacy one day at a time. Venom says, wouldn't it be nice if those allegations got Vince life in prison? Brett says the news just really, really blows. This is definitely some horrendous news. The worst channel you've ever seen says WWE is now dead. And Thomas says, oh no, this is the beginning of the end. The worst part of all of this is that WWE is trending up when it comes to investment. People basically diving onto that grenade because they know they're going to get rich from it. Edwin suggests we all stop watching WWE, which would certainly send a message to them. Steven says more allegations coming back to bite Vince McMahon. Chill Dude says Eric Bischoff mentioned this scenario yesterday, saying someone big will step down for Vince and it'll be Vince and Khan, which of course is exactly what has happened. Stephanie McMahon has stepped out of Vince's way, essentially. Brett says the long-term storytelling that Triple H and the new creative have given us since Vince left has been nothing short of awesome. Michael Bullock, welcome to the show, says Vince will win the Rumble and beat Roman for both titles. The thing is, you can't rule it out. It sounds so ridiculous, but you can't rule it out because historically, that is exactly what he does. Michael says the craziness of 2022 has been surpassed in 10 days. Ray UK says Chelsea Green signing with WWE. According to Fightful Select, she already has. Lauren says I didn't see this coming ever since Vince's comeback. Everything is weird. Will Triple H follow and will miss Stephanie? I don't know if Triple H will follow. To my knowledge, he is safe in his position. However, that's until Vince decides he's not anymore. That's the situation that we're in. Tristan Sloan says, I'm new here. What's up? Welcome. Stephanie McMahon has resigned from her position as co-CEO of the WWE, and Vince McMahon has been unanimously voted executive chairman by the WWE board. That means he is now once again in full control of all business and financial decisions by the company. That means hiring, firing, and putting himself into specific positions, such as, for example, creative. He has not, at this point, put himself in charge of creative, but ultimately a door is open now that wasn't before. Justin says it started with 4 McMahons and it's down to 1. The prophecy of WrestleMania 2000 has finally come true. We have 172 viewers and only the 64 likes. That is almost less than a third. Please remember to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It does make a massive difference to the growth of the channel. Thank you, Jeffro, for subscribing as well. Thank you very much. Now, Spider-Boss says it surprised me last night Candice LeRae didn't get any offense against Rhea on Raw. Someone's got to be a loser for someone to be a winner. Candice LeRae was there to make Rhea Ripley look strong. She did that, and Triple H was very happy with it. Spider-Boss believes Triple H is the last sign of hope in the WWE. Hector says, I think something that gets lost in all of this is the one female authority figure that mattered is now gone. Absolutely right, Hector. Thank you for mentioning that, because that is a big deal, a really big deal, and something well worth mentioning. When Triple H returned, one of the things he wanted to have happen was more female voices, particularly as regards creative and writing staff. That's what he wanted. The loss of Stephanie will hurt that dream. Ghost says, on a much happier note, congrats to Ricochet and Samantha Irvin for their engagement. Congratulations to them. I did see the post. It was really weird seeing like it was tweeted by 2 people. But it's a nice enough ring, and congratulations to them. Bailey says, Tom, your opinion only, thank you. On a scale from 1, no chance, to 10, done deal, does Triple H leave by the end of this month? I'm going 3. Not impossible, but very unlikely. Sean says, according to Vegas odds makers, Becky has slightly moved ahead of Rhea as a favourite to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Doesn't surprise me at all. After all, the report that came out that Rhea Ripley would be challenging Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania was really hurt by the fact that Ronda Rousey is not the champion anymore. Spider-Bass says, where's Bronson Reed? He appeared once and has appeared on TV. As Ink Rainer clarifies, he was just on yesterday. He was in a promo segment with The Miz. Thank you, Ink Rainer, for the clarification there. Get the Table says, do you think Triple H is next? Personally, at this point, no. However, why would you have the power to make those changes if you're not planning to use them? Vince McMahon at this point in time can do basically whatever the hell he wants, and there is absolutely nothing anyone can do to stop him. We are currently at 1,994 subscribers on YouTube. That means just 6, that's 6 more to get us to 2,000. Please, if you've not yet done so, consider hitting subscribe or like if you haven't either. Spider-Boss says, if Becky doesn't win the Women's Royal Rumble, I think Damage Control take Becky out. I think Bayley has more of a chance now of winning the Royal Rumble than she did before Charlotte won the SmackDown Women's Championship, particularly as a face. Christian says, either Vince is doing this just for the money or because of potential mental issues in regards to his memory, which makes the repetitive matches sort of understandable. To my knowledge, Vince is in good health, including mentally. I'm confident it's for the money, and from everyone I've spoken to, he's looking for a payout of about $5 billion personal to get his individual shares, and if that happens, he'll be buying something big that we'll be seeing debuting shortly. Sock says, anyone could have predicted Vince would be back in some way. And a lot of people did, to be fair. Chill Dude says, I do believe there'll be a revolution if Vince comes back to TV and creative. Do you? Because here's the thing. When the first allegations came out, Vince McMahon walked down to the ring and the crowd chanted, "No chance in hell." I don't think there'll be a revolution. I think some wrestlers will leave and they'll replace them with others. And I think the show will go on. I don't even think they'll lose that much viewership because ultimately Vince is already back now. They didn't exactly lose viewership on SmackDown. Lauren says, all the people Triple H brought back again, will Vince again fire them? Vince does not have the power to at this point in time. Lauren says, did you hear WWE will be sold? Yes, Vince McMahon has returned to sell the WWE. The plan is to sell within the next year while also negotiating new TV deals with USA Network and with Fox. Fox, Comcast, Amazon, and a company representing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are currently the favourites to buy the company. Michael says, do you think Saudi Arabia is in the running to buy WWE? Yes, they are. Q43 says, according to Zero News, Vincent has been Uncle Howdy on Raw and SmackDown. Interesting, because according to Fightful, very much not the case. Callie says, what happened with Shane? He attempted to book the Royal Rumble this last year, and it was so badly received that they fired him. He was going to be facing Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee got the nod instead. Lawrence says Theory will get pushed again. Isn't he currently the United States champion? Sounds like a push to me. Connor says, I was about to go to sleep. Why did this news have to come? Me too, mate. Me too. It's half past midnight now. I do have work in the morning, but my God, I could not miss the opportunity because this is a lot of news to talk about. We need to share facts and information, and anything I hear, I will be sharing with you guys. Tristan says, is there any chance of Rob Van Dam, X-Pac or Booker T in the 2023 Royal Rumble? I know you're new here, but this means everything is on the table. There are a number of different people who've been contacted already to return at the Royal Rumble. I don't want to spoil any particular surprises. This isn't really something we do here. Lauren suggests we'll get Nikki Ash again. Steven says Vince McMahon is jealous of Triple H because he's better than Vince McMahon and it feeds his ego. Connor says, hey Tom, hope your day's been good even though it's been 18 minutes into this one. That shows how behind I am because I'm 15 minutes later than that. Wow, I'm behind. Lauren says, isn't it ironic? It's close to Mania and that's when Vince decides to come back. I was hoping Steph would stay. Wonder why she left. John says, I've consumed this product for 30 years. I vested money and now get slapped in the back of the head. Ooh, I've lost track again. We're actually nearly caught up. Lauren says, don't blame the roster. They loved Triple H and Stephanie. Sock, that's not quite breaking news. We actually covered that about half an hour ago. The WWE sent out a press release. Bleacher Report are just the latest ones to confirm it. Christian says, what are the chances someone who buys WWE would just buy it for the catalogue and stops TV production for Raw and SmackDown? Practically 0%. Asker says, I hope Vince doesn't fire Dakota. There are no signs or indications at the moment that there is any intention for Vince to come in and start firing people. However, the company is for sale, and the reason that they gave for the previous budget cuts and the previous load of firing was budget cuts ready for a sale. Thank you, Callie. Now says, does AJ make the Rumble or Mania? Possibly. A broken ankle takes a bit of time. I don't think he'll make the Rumble, but Mania is certainly a possibility. Richard Smith says, any word on the first inductee of Hall of Fame? Nothing as of yet. As I say, a lot of people have been reached out to. I haven't been able to get any confirmed names. Will says, who would you say is a frontrunner to buy WWE? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at this point, though I would say Fox, for me, is the most likely to win in the end. John Bear says, Tom, you're a great guy. What a crazy day, eh? Thank you, John Bear. Appreciate that. As someone who's been here for a long time, I very much appreciate it, because you would know. I hope you're good as well. Timothy says, I don't see Saudi winning the bid. Well, we'll see how it goes. Jeff Rogers says, damn 3 times. I'm guessing that's a Brooklyn 99. Oh, damn. Stephen says, Stephanie McMahon didn't want to be CEO chairwoman. No, to my knowledge, she did not. She was contacted to essentially keep a McMahon in the seat, and Shane wasn't welcome at the table at the time. Mahesh says, at least whoever buys WWE, the legacy will remain alive. Brett says, Comcast will likely be the entity that purchases. I'm also reading that Vince has stated he wants creative control as a contingent. Where are you reading that, Brett? Please source the information that you share here, because if you're reading it somewhere. And if you don't source the information, I can't trust it. Okay, we need you to source the information. I take great pride in the fact that this chat right here is the most well-informed chat in wrestling YouTube. I work very hard for that, as does everyone here. So please remember, source your information. Stephen says Vince McMahon lied to everybody about his retirement. He never wanted to step down. To be fair, in his statement when he became the executive chairman once again, he did state quite openly that it was a leave of absence, not a retirement. Mr. Stumble says, what if Ted Turner bought WWE? He won't. Vince would never sell to him. Sean says, Becky and Shotzi are going to be heels again, aren't they? Once again, no creative control for Vince McMahon at this point in time. Tommy says, let's be honest, even if we don't watch, Vince doesn't care. It's Vince we are talking about. Venom suggests $1 million man should buy the WWE. Jason Watkins, how you doing, mate? Says, I'd love to see Steph and Triple H go to AEW to help out. That would be a thing. That'd be like Vince McMahon when he was in his position as, not Vince McMahon, when Hulk Hogan went to Impact. That's what I was going for. Steven says, we can't have nothing nice WWE because Vince McMahon is here, have to come in here and mess everything up. Michael says, Raj Giri tweeted, I've asked around and Paul Triple H Revec is in firmly as chief content officer. I'm reading too fast. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that news and the clarification on it. That is something that I've said a little bit earlier. There were clear indicators of it, particularly in Stephanie McMahon's statement. Sorry, a lot happening right now. My brain's not entirely working. In Stephanie McMahon's statement that was going to continue. So I firmly believed it. I hadn't got confirmation. Appreciate that from you, Michael. Venom says, this channel has gone from being mad Sasha fans wanting Sasha anywhere to return to an all-out Vince panic. Well, there's a good reason for it. Ray UK says it's time to boycott WWE and watch Impact. Impact, I don't really have time for it, unfortunately. It doesn't really fit where I'm going. Welcome, Robs. How you doing, mate? Will says, let's say WWE is sold. I know Vince still wants to be in control. Once again, why do we know that? Like, why do we know that? What's your source there, Will? Billy says, I'm hiding in the bathroom at work, watching this since I got your notification. Ever since the allegations came out, it's been a roller coaster. Justin says, non-Steph related. We're nearly caught up. Non-Steph related, Andrade just sent out a cryptic buy tweet. Any word on Rumble surprise for him? To my knowledge, there are several names in AEW, including Andrade and Miro, who want out and want to return to the WWE. FTR have also been mentioned. They want to work under Triple H. They don't necessarily want to work under Vince McMahon, but if you want out and then Vince McMahon returns, Tony Khan might still click the button to let you out, to basically say, sucks to be you. It wouldn't be unfair, unfortunately. Timothy says, I hate saying it, but literally anything is on the table. Literally anything is on the table. Anything. Jordan Plays, welcome. New name in the chat, and I appreciate that you've immediately jumped in with a super chat. Very grateful for that. It says, I know I'm in the minority, but I think there's a happy medium between where Triple H is and what Vince does leading creative. I like some of Vince's comedy, which is lacking from Triple H's version, but that's me. I think that's a fair comment, especially when you consider that a lot of the really popular storylines under Triple H right now started with Vince. Sami Zayn, for example. The Sami Zayn storyline was entirely Vince McMahon and still is. So I do think there is an element of happy medium, and I think that's worth pointing out. If Triple H is still in charge of creative, which has been confirmed now, then I still think we're in a good position for a good quality show. It just depends what happens after the sale. After all, that's when we get real confused, because who knows? Sean says, what did you think Uncle Howdy appearing during the Alexa segment means? I actually already clarified this during Monday's spoiler warning. It was an element of revenge. Uncle Howdy looks to be trying to recruit Alexa Bliss. It is tying into the storyline with The Fiend from the match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss turning on The Fiend was not done by Alexa Bliss. She was being led by a higher power. Hence the allusions to it during Raw. The Dark Society says, when you said it a couple of days ago, it's a maybe that Vince could take back creative. This is scary. Jeff Rose says, Vince McMahon is so powerful, not even the Me Too movement can stop him now. That's saying something. It will continue to try. More on that is coming. Venom says, who do you think is the most likely buyer? Do you think it's likely Saudi will get the WWE? I think they will try the hardest, but I think Fox will get it. King says, just now tuning in, and all I can say is LOL. Lauren says, do you think Riddle will be released? Nope. They've completely ignored all of the things that he's openly admitted to for years. Why would they change it now? Andy Moy, how you doing, mate? Great to see you. Great to see you. Says, hey, Tom Pal, only just seen the news here, although in black and white it seems like, oh, she's just going back to her leave. Kind of feels like she's been pushed out. What else do you feel about this? There was definite speculation at the time that Stephanie McMahon became co-CEO and chairwoman of the board that she was keeping the seat warm for her fellow McMahon. And the second that he comes back, she vacates the seat. For me, that's very telling about where we're headed. I firmly believe, and I'm not particularly happy to say it, that she never wanted the position to begin with. She carried the torch, was happy to do so, but upon the return of Vince McMahon, that's it. She stepped out of his way and basically said, here you go, Dad, all yours again. Spider-Boss says, how long will Bianca's title reign last? Until she loses a belt. Also says it would be weird, but a storyline between Vince and Triple H for the control of WWE could happen. It absolutely could not, nor should it, for any possible reason. Vince McMahon, to my knowledge, has no intention of going out in front of the camera. However, let's be honest, things are changing every single second of the day at this point. Who can tell what's actually going to happen? We have just hit 2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers, meaning we have gained 24 from this stream alone. Huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed at any point to this YouTube channel, to everyone who's clicked like, everyone who's watching, everyone who's donated. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you. 2,000 seemed a pipe dream when I first started, and here we are, having hit it. It's just a shame we had to get there with such bad news. Ghost says, with Raw, Triple X and Royal Rumble coming up in 2 weeks, do you think Vince's comeback could negatively affect the show based on a lack of desire for certain legends to work with him? No. The main reason I say that is because historically the legends want Vince McMahon more than anyone else does. The Hulk Hogans want Vince, they don't want Triple H. In fact, Triple H doesn't want them. The Goldbergs, the Undertakers, they all prefer Vince in charge. So honestly, I think it'll probably help them. Bailey says, what is to prevent Fox or NBC Universal cancelling Raw or SmackDown? WWE only gets paid if the shows are on the air. Contractual obligation will prevent them from doing so. They have agreed to air the show in a designated time slot for the duration of the contract and the payment that they are giving for it. Spider-Boss says, how long until Tony Khan begins calling himself the best chairman on wrestling? He's been doing that for years. Also says, Sami Zayn, as part of the Bloodline and Liv's push, began with Vince. They did indeed. Bailey says, congrats on 2k subscribers. Thank you very kindly, Bailey. I appreciate it. Very nice to see. Lauren says, when do you think Orton is returning? I have absolutely no news on this one. It is a major injury. He is confident he will return. Not everyone else is. We currently have 128 viewers and 78 likes. That's 22 likes away from the 100. If you can, please remember to hit that thumbs up. It makes a massive difference to the growth of the channel. Lets a lot of people know that we are here and we are streaming and we are sharing news, and I would very much appreciate it. Lauren says, Vince will bring Eva Marie back. Nope, Vince fired her. The halcyon days of the WWE happened when it's still known as the WWF. That is certainly an opinion, Meister. Certainly an opinion. I personally believe the product is much better now than it was then, primarily because women aren't treated entirely as sex slaves. Apart from China. Venom says, I thought you didn't do lives on a Sunday, only asking because it's on the side. I don't have an updated overlay for the breaking news. I probably do. Side's probably sent one. I just jumped on as soon as I possibly could. I don't do Sundays anymore. The Sundays part right there isn't accurate. Thank you for reminding me just so I could say that out loud. Michael says, I was expecting a Stop the Steal, but I'm surprised it took this long. I mean, you're not wrong there. LP Soldier says, I think this is just a temporary move. Stephanie will return to the company at the same role, at some role. Khan is a better person to help negotiate with Vince in the selling of the company. That's fair. Nick Khan is definitely a better, more experienced choice to negotiate the sale of the company. As regards Stephanie McMahon only being out temporarily, that is possible. She was, after all, undertaking a leave of absence at the time when she chose to leave. So when she got the call to come back and become chairwoman, she jumped at the opportunity naturally, but historically she's never been that high in the company, even though she has at times been at board level. I do believe it's likely that Stephanie returns in some capacity at some point, but I certainly think there may be a new management structure in place. After all, let's say, for example, Fox do buy the WWE, they might decide not to continue with Triple H and instead bring in some TV writers. Sean says, think HBK will be removed from his position? No. Why? He's been in that position under Vince McMahon and Triple H and Nick Khan and Stephanie. Why would that happen? Yes, Will. Raj Giri has confirmed what I said about Triple H still booking the show. Michael says, I'm actually heartbroken for Steph. She apparently made the choice. It's the only information we have to go on is that Stephanie McMahon has chosen to step down. That's the only information we have to go on at this point in time. Ross says, would you switch your focus to AEW if Saudi gets WWE? Wouldn't want the channel to go as your shows are excellent and growth deserved. I don't know, Ross. Certainly I could look into other wrestling promotions and I'd be happy to do that. Good wrestling is good wrestling. But it really does depend on the how and the when. It's a difficult one. John Play says, Tom, you Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure, I have to say Nick's name first, legally, is my favourite show on PWTorch. Phenomenal job, my man. Thank you, John. I really do appreciate it. That's a lovely thing to say. Lovely thing to say, and I'm really glad you're enjoying it. We work very hard on Nick and Tom's, and we're very, very proud of what we're making. Both Nick and I really enjoyed recording this week's show, so thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Venom says, whoever he sells to, I hope Triple H is still in charge of creative. A lot of people not happy with the idea of Saudi potentially getting it. Stuart Claw says, evening, good points in the chat. I believe the filings made to the SEC about Vince's return mention that he can interject into creative. They do. There is designated positions outlaid in the SEC filing, essentially saying that Vince is able to take whatever position he chooses to. Whatever position he chooses to. A lot of people point to the SEC filing saying that that's not the case. Clearly, they haven't actually read the SEC filing because it does state that as fact. Thank you, Stuart, for the clarification on that as well. And welcome to the show. Connor says, congrats on 2K. Thank you, Connor. Ed says, sorry I'm late. Just woke up. Big night coming for NXT. Needed to get my voice in a good place. My voice is wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. It's good lead-in. If anyone's doing an NXT watch-along, let me know. We can raid them. John says, to me, the perfect mix is 80% Triple H and 20% Vince on creative. I don't know if they would work in that capacity. Certainly I get what you're saying. I do think Vince does still have some very good, very creative ideas, but I do think he shouldn't be in charge of the ideas anymore. Andy says, see, now I didn't know about that, so it makes a lot of sense being a seat warmer. Definitely going to be keeping my eyes on it. Hope you're all good. Congrats on 2K, so does that. Thank you, Andy. I really do appreciate it. I mean, you were there when I first started this channel way back when. So I've worked hard on it, and I'm just really, really happy and really, really proud that we've been able to achieve as much as we have in the time that we have as well. It's been a hell of a year. Hell of a year. Even though it's only 10 days in. Hell of a year. John says, Grayson Waller wins the NXT Championship tonight. I don't personally think so. I still don't know who's going to be the one to take the championship from Bron Breakker, but personally, I definitely want him holding the championship in the Royal Rumble. Personally, I think that's a damn good shout. Ross says, also watch Wrestle Kingdom and subscribe to New Japan due to this show over several months. What a double main event. I've been very open about the fact that I absolutely love my New Japan. Absolutely love it. I'm glad to see so many people giving it a chance and really enjoying it as well. Justin says, who do you believe will be on the cover of 2K23? Cody. Though I also think Bianca's in with a shout, I think Cody's the perfect one to take that role. Nas says, congrats Tom, didn't even notice hit 2K. Richard says, congrats on 2000. Ed says, congrats on 2K. Tom, thank you very much, guys. But it says, Dave Meltzer was reporting that Vince wanted creative control upon his return, but walked back on that to focus on the sale. Thank you for the clarification there, Brett. Venom says, how come you don't do Sunday Lives anymore, Tom? Because I have parental duties now, whereas I didn't previously. I am currently a stepdad, and, I like to try and make Tiny Arms' life as easy as possible. Tiny Arms is the code I use for my partner. I don't say her actual name on here, or the name of the children. I'm sure you understand. Stephen Yu says, look, she did not step down. She did. She stated that in her statement. They also said Vince asked for creative and they told him a big fat no. They didn't. That is not something that happened. They negotiated and convinced him, and they didn't say it. Dave Meltzer did. Okay? you've clearly got some real anger issues going on, because lots of capitals and exclamation marks. Also, what you're saying simply isn't true. Stephanie McMahon resigned. That is a fact. I don't know who you think said Vince asked for creative, because it wasn't Vince. Y'all got to calm down. Oh, and you're taking up a lot of the next section. Venom said as soon as Vince sells, the better, because that means we get Sasha back. No, it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. Stephen, you called me a liar again and you're being kicked straight out. That's simple. Brett says, according to Vegas, Comcast is odds-on favourite to buy WWE and Fox is plus 1,200. I'm just going off my personal opinion. Let's be fair. But I appreciate that, actually, Brett. Sorry, I was dismissive there, and I don't want to be dismissive there. Particularly because you've just brought in facts. The betting averages, the betting odds for the sale are telling about where we can see this going. So I do appreciate that. You've added more content to the channel and to the information. So sorry, I was a bit dismissive there, and I just want to apologise for that. Callie says, I hope she does come back in some sort of role. Never give this channel up. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you. Astrid says, congrats, Tom. Thank you, Astrid. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. It's always great to see so many creators in the sphere. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Bennett says, I just came back and heard NXT Watch Along. I'm assuming there's not one for the pay-per-view, but please tell me. I'm not doing an NXT Watch Along. Once this show is done and I've shared all the news I can, that's it. I'm going to bed. I have work in the morning. Sean suggests Tom Colohue as CEO of WWE. Elim says, I don't know what's going on, man, but it's not something good. But hopefully the sale will keep WWE management good and Triple H leading and in charge. But do you think Jay White would come to WWE seeing reports like this now? I shared a short on this earlier. Breaking news from other sources tends to be released in shorts. As regards Jay White, there have been reports that he is coming to WWE every January for the last 4 years. Much like the report that The Rock is coming to face Roman at WrestleMania for the last 4 years. Jay White, to my knowledge, is still under WWE contract. This report came from Fightful Select and included also from Fightful Select that his opponent in the Loser Leaves Japan match, guess what? He's doing? He's leaving and coming to WWE. You don't get much more obviously hedged bets than that. You really don't. Brandon says, hashtag ball bros. Still not happening. Congrats on 2K, you've come a long way, my friend. Brandon, you know more than most. You were there very early on. Thank you kindly. Ghost says, congrats on 2K, may the success continue. You deserve it. Thank you very much, Ghost. I appreciate you. Wiggly's back says, who is a front runner to buy WWE? Brett's already given us that information. Comcast is apparently in the lead at the moment. Yes, Wiggly, if Asuka was still here, everything would be fine. Everything would be fine. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it. Ray UK says, would Tony Khan be interested in buying WWE? He absolutely would. Would he be able to? Absolutely not. Vince would not sell to Tony Khan no matter what he was paying. Venom says, if Fox buys WWE, surely a Sasha return is more likely because Vince would be gone. Vince was gone when she decided not to return. Nothing has changed in that regard. Nothing. Well, that's an interesting source. Thank you for the clarification, Brett. Elim says Comcast is most likely going to buy WWE. They already have a streaming contract for 5 years. For most companies, what all the streaming rights they have. Sean says, I saw that Sasha was taken off the SmackDown advertisement on the Fox app and replaced by Ronda. Yep, because she's not in the company anymore. She's no longer with the WWE. As I reported months ago, once we got to January, Sasha Banks would become a free agent. She did. There was definite discussion between Triple H and Sasha about what can we do to keep you here. And in the end, what she said was, I'm going now. It's that simple. Jason Watkins says, I see a lot of speculation about Fox buying WWE. I'm curious, doesn't Disney own Fox? Wouldn't that mean Disney is a potential buyer? Speculating, of course. Disney owns, Disney has bought I believe it's a tape library of Fox. Basically, they bought a channel and a historical archive. They do not own Fox. Not Fox itself. And Keyshawn says, do you expect to see budget cut releases after WrestleMania? With the fact that a sale is incoming, yes, I do. I'm not the happiest about that, but yes, I do. Thank you, Ed, for dealing with Stephen Yu, who was clearly born 10 years ago and is only 10 years old. So we can't blame them too much. But 2013, when you're born 10 years ago, you become this reactive. I can almost hear the Fortnite, you know when you get a cheater of a game and they're really annoyed because they can't use their aimbot? You got that vibe from that guy. Wiggly says, Vince could sell to Tony Khan. Every man has a price. On that note, might Ted DiBiase put in a bid, but it'd have to be the $1 billion man for that. He'd have to be the $6 billion man for that, at bare minimum. That's the difference. To recap, the top news story and the only news story of this surprise breaking news stream: Stephanie McMahon has resigned effective immediately from her role as chairwoman of the board and co-CEO of the WWE. Immediately afterwards, a board vote took place and Vince McMahon was unanimously put into place as the chairman of the board once again. Nick Khan is now the sole CEO. Sources indicate that Triple H will be remaining as chief content officer. However, we are in a very fluid situation right now. I really have to keep making this point. We are in an extremely fluid place right now where Vince McMahon can change the laws whenever the hell he wants for the company, and that does mean he would be able to essentially take over creative if he so chooses. The company, the WWE, is up for sale. What this means for the WWE is that budget cuts are likely. That means a lot of the people who've been hired quite recently may well be heading straight back out the door if Vince McMahon decides they are not worth the money that they are being paid. That said, the contracts on offer from Triple H and Nick Khan when people did return or when people made their debuts were for a lot less money than they were receiving previously, particularly in terms of Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and the like. So, the cost-benefit analysis might have gone closer to their way than Vince's way. Wiggly is asking, might Bray be shown the door and Regal? I don't want to say it, but it's not impossible. It's up to Vince McMahon, and we all know how his brain works. Thank you, Illims. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. Disney owns 21st Century, not the whole Fox Corporation. Thank you for that clarification. That's the information I was looking for. Illims said, budget cuts maybe. Not going to be bad now of all the talent they have, so I really see some that didn't excite me back in their return, but I don't see plenty. Christian said, if Fox buys WWE, would they rename SmackDown Wrestling with Friends? Ross says, if Comcast buy WWE, that would likely mean WWE back on Sky Sports here as they own Sky too. Possibly, however, the WWE do have an ongoing contract with BT Sport. They would have to pay a lot of money to get out of that contract. Sean says, I saw SmackDown advertisement and Ronda was still shown as champion. Yeah, they'll update it eventually. A lot of the advertisements are out of date. Ray says, did you watch WWE when Luther Reigns was in WWE? Nope. Will says, when it comes to company, how much are they excited are they to hear? Will, would you be able to clarify that? I think autocorrector's got you. And John says, NXT Women's Battle Royal for a shot at the title should be very good tonight. Wiggly says, can AEW in any way benefit from the unrest in WWE? Yes, very easily. Very easily. They've always portrayed themselves as the cut above, the moral victory. Vince McMahon being back kind of helps them with that. Ray says, what will happen to the UK WWE network when WWE is sold? Great question. I cannot possibly answer it. It's up to whoever buys the contract. Venom says, if they get rid of Johnny, I'll absolutely lose it. How about getting rid of Sonya Deville? We are not wishing anyone gone. We are absolutely not wishing anyone out of the company. That is not what's going to happen here. Brett says, I wonder if I'll hear Comcast is buying before others. I mean, I work for them. Granted, I'm a frontline worker, but who knows? Well, you may well hear. You may get yourself a statement. And if so, send it to me, mate. I'd appreciate it. Wiggly says, what I mean, can AEW legit push to be the number one brand in a few years if indeed WWE might go into Saudi hands? Again, it is impossible to say. Absolutely impossible. It may be that a buyer comes in, buys the WWE, and immediately shuts the entire thing down and sells it for parts. There is no way of knowing. It's unlikely, but it's impossible to state at this point. We've been live for an hour and 15 minutes. It is 1 a.m. NXT is about to start, and Tom Colohue is about to go to bed. If there is any further news on this story, I will endeavour to let you know as soon as I possibly can. But I do want to just say thank you to the 87 people who've hit like. Didn't quite hit the 100, but I'll still be very, very happy with what we've had. We've had 1,698 views, and we have broken 2,000 subscribers for the first time. A huge thank you to all of you who've given me the time of day. I very much appreciate it, even if all you've done is popped in, had a listen, and decided it's not for you. Brett says, great chat, glad I found your channel, really like your takes, and you want facts before you go over. I do, I very much do. What I try to do, I do get some like inside source stuff, but not very much, I've got to be honest with you. I'm not the most well-connected man in wrestling. But what I want to do is present information factually, no clickbait, no hyperbole, hence the title, Stephanie McMahon resigns as co-CEO of the WWE. I want to be as blunt and as simple as possible in my approach. I'm glad to hear you enjoy that. You are, of course, very welcome here. I'm really happy with the contribution that you've made, so please do return. I would love to see you again. There is someone impersonating Vince McMahon in the chat saying, I'll never retire. Christian, when it comes to NXT UK and NXT Europe, that's up to William Regal at this point. If they decide it's not worth the money, Stuart Claw says good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for the company. Thank you very much for the time of day. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic. I'll see you all very soon.